This is Fido Dio A.F. Obviously, this is will be my first video on my YouTube channel. Then, this is basic analysis of prose assignment. Today, I will analyze a story. The title of the story is Snow White. Please follow my analysis, try to understand it, and let's check it out.
But to be honest, I'm not sure if I could take the solitude. It's been a long time running since I started my
Okay, I will make a video analysis of a short story. I choose a Snow White story in this video. Then of course at the beginning, I describe the plot details of the story. Every story has a plot detail each. The plot detail consists of 4 cases, which is exposition, reason action, climax, and denouement. And beside of the 4 cases, the story also has the conflict. Okay, the first is the exposition of the Snow White story. The introduction, it tells that the queen has no kids until he had a daughter which is called Snow White. When the original queen gives the name of the Snow White to her because Snow White has a beautiful face with a white skin and red cheeks as blood color. And then the queen loves the Snow White so much. And then second is reason action. When the mother of Snow White had died, and then her father married again and make his new wife to be a new king, or in this case, I call her as the evil queen. And then the evil queen jealous that make the other person have the beautiful face more than her. At some moment, she started to speak to mirror. And then the mirror told that Snow White is the fairest person. The evil queen, more jealous to Snow White, and gave an order to the hunter to bring the Snow White to the forest or wood to slay the Snow White. And then the climax happens when the hunter didn't kill the Snow White, and he gave the heart of the deer to the queen. She was living in a hut with the dwarfs. Then the evil queen tried to speak with the mirror again, and then after the mirror speech, she realized that the Snow White wasn't killed by the hunter. The evil queen tried to kill the Snow White herself by the poison. She transformed herself into the old lady, and then she came to the hut where the Snow White was living. The evil queen tried to kill Snow White 3 times. The first and the second time doesn't work because the Snow White can revived by the dwarfs until the third action. It can kill the Snow White by the poison apple, which is given by the evil queen to the Snow White. And then the denouement of the story happened after the third action of the queen to try to kill the Snow White. The hut was coming by the prince who was living in the palace, and then he asked for the water. And then he accidentally looked at Snow White, who is almost died. He was falling in love with her. After that, he tried to save the Snow White and brought her home. But when on the way to the palace, the poison apple on the Snow White throat was coming out, and then she awakes and revived again. When they are arriving at the palace, both of them get married. Then the queen spoke to the mirror again, and then she knew the truth that the Snow White was still alive. The statement of the mirror is driving the evil queen crazy. After that, she decided to kill herself because she is jealous and doesn't work to kill Snow White. And then the conflict in the story, in my opinion, has 2 possibilities. The first is woman versus herself. Why? Because the first is woman versus herself. Why? Because at the beginning, the evil queen has a bad feeling, and she is jealous to the other person who is more beautiful than her. Then after woman versus self, it becomes woman versus woman. In this case, I choose woman versus woman because the elf queen is trying to kill Snow White in 3 times. And at the point of view of the story uses the third point of view because the author uses the name of the character. There is no statement of the first person and second person point of view, such as I, you, and me. And the character on the story has 2 cases, versus major and minor. And the major character is Snow White and the new queen or evil queen. And then the minor is the original queen, the father, the dwarfs, the huntsman, and the prince. Then of course the setting of the story. The story took place in some palace and in the woods, where there is a hut to be a Snow White living. And then it took times in the morning and evening, and took times here around the 18th and 19th century. And then I found a symbol on this story. The first is the literal meaning has been used in the story, which is concrete statement. Besides that, most of the sentences is easy to understand in the story. And maybe few of the story also uses figurative language, or maybe is known as abstract. And then the color symbol. I found a white color symbol, which it has meaning purity and light, and then red. Red has meaning blood and passion, but each of the color symbol is explaining about the beauty of the Snow White itself. And then the setting symbol. I found a forest. Forests which usually have the meaning that place of evil or mystery. But in the story, it is contrary with the definition of it. The setting in the story is the place where the main character belongs and revive. And then the theme. The universal theme is parent-child relationship. The relationship isn't good, as exactly mother and child do in real life. The stepmother or evil queen in the story has no mercy to the Snow White or to the doctor. She firstly asked to the hunter to slay the Snow White, and then he took a step to kill the Snow White by her hands. And then the literary elements is irony. Why is it irony? Because first of all, the new wife of the king or the evil queen is jealous about the beauty of Snow White, and then she tried to kill or slay Snow White again and again. And a formulate opinion. I think we never get satisfied feeling if we look at the others and not grateful for what we have. All we have is an empty heart. We never enough to chase the useless thing that makes us into the cliff of fear. The destruction will come to us. I agree with the other who makes this story, because the other makes this story to give us some lesson that we are as human beings should be grateful as we are. Not to do the bad actions such as killing people and having some bad feeling for the others. And all of we've done, all of it surely has consequences. And it reminds me to the statement, what you give is what you get. And then to make a connection to anything, I choose connection to 2 cases, which are opinion and people. People are having different opinion in their head. Because of that, the beautifulness is relative among each person. They have the characteristic of beautiful. Then I connect to the people, because for a few persons, the beautiful is an important one. but the most important is the way of action we have in a daily activity. So we don't need to jealous to the others because each of us have excessiveness itself. Alright guys, this will be the end of the video. Hope you understand it and enjoy this video. And of course, don't forget to subscribe and surely to give me a comment. Thank you and goodbye.